I whisper to my reflection sometimes, telling her what I wish I'd known 10 years ago. They say you'll die poor and alone, but you'll be more powerful than they ever imagined. My name is Allison, and this is the story of how I turned betrayal into an empire. Not for revenge. At least, that's what I tell myself. For justice. I remember every detail of that night. The crystal glasses catching candlelight, Mother's pearls gleaming as she leaned forward, her voice dripping honey. Darling, Miles is perfect for you. His family's connections alone. I said no. My voice was steady, even as my hands shook under the table. I won't marry him. Father's fork clattered against fine china. This isn't a request, Allison. The arrangements are made. Did you arrange the restraining orders too? I pulled out the folder I'd been carrying all week. Or his ex-girlfriend's hospital records? Mother's face went white. Father's turned red. Where did you get those? He demanded. I'm a law student, Father. I know how to research. I spread out the documents. 3 women, all with similar stories about Miles, all silenced with NDAs and threats. Lies, Mother hissed. Jealous girls trying to extort a good family. Good families don't break women's bones. I stood up, my chair scraping against marble. I won't be his 4th victim. Father slammed his hands on the table. Enough. You will marry Miles Newton, or you will leave this house with nothing. Your choice. Uriel, Mother whispered, but her eyes were cold. Think carefully, Allison. Without us, you're nothing. I looked at them. Really looked at them. The parents who'd controlled every aspect of my life, who'd shaped me into their perfect society daughter, who'd rather see me broken than disobedient. Nothing? I laughed, and it sounded like breaking glass. Watch me. I walked to the door, my heels clicking on marble floors for the last time. Behind me, Father's voice boomed. If you leave now, you're dead to us. No money, no connections, no family. I turned back one last time. Better dead to you than dead by him. Mother's face crumpled for just a second before hardening. You ungrateful child, get out! I did. The heavy door slammed behind me with finality. I made it halfway down the driveway before my legs gave out. That's where Piper found me an hour later. Mascara streaked down my face, still in my dinner dress. Jesus, Allie. She helped me up, her familiar voice steady. What happened? They chose him over me. My voice cracked. They knew what he was, and they still chose him. Piper wrapped me in a fierce hug. Then they don't deserve you. Come on, my couch is yours as long as you need it. I have nothing, I whispered. No money, no job. You have me, Piper said firmly. And you have that big brain of yours. We'll figure it out. As we drove away, I watched my childhood home disappear in the rearview mirror. The lights blazed in every window, warm and inviting. A perfect facade hiding rot beneath. My phone buzzed. A text from Mother. When you're ready to apologize, we'll welcome you back. I deleted it without responding. Then I deleted her number. Piper glanced over. You okay? No. I wiped my eyes. But I will be. And someday they'll regret this. That's my girl. Piper smiled. Want to stop for ice cream? Nothing says fuck you to rich parents like Cheap Rocky Road. I managed a laugh. God, yes. We got ice cream in our fancy clothes, sitting on the hood of Piper's beat-up Honda. I had no idea then that this was just the beginning, that one day I'd build something so much bigger than their small, gilded world, that their perfect son-in-law would be exposed, their reputation shattered, their power stripped away. But that night, all I knew was that I'd chosen myself. And somehow, that was enough to start with. Rats sound different from mice. That's something you learn when you're sleeping in your car, parked behind a 24-hour diner that lets you use their bathroom if you buy coffee every morning. The rats are bolder. Their scratching more deliberate, like they know they own the night. 3 months after my parents disowned me, I'd burned through Piper's goodwill and my last shred of pride. Law school was a distant dream. My bank account showed 40 Svandals 82s. The diner manager, Rita, would slip me extra pancakes when she worked nights, pretending it was a mistake she couldn't resell. "You're too smart for this, honey," she told me one night, refilling my coffee. "What's your plan?" "Besides becoming the world's most overqualified waitress." I tried to joke, but my voice cracked. That night, I couldn't sleep. I opened my laptop, connected to the diner's Wi-Fi, and started typing. Just everything. My story. The women Miles had hurt. The way wealthy families buried their sins under NDAs and country club memberships. I posted it anonymously on several forums. By morning, my inbox was flooded. The same thing happened to me. My family chose money over my safety too. I thought I was alone. I showed Piper the responses when she brought me clean clothes. "Holy shit, Allie." She scrolled through messages. There's hundreds of them. They're all like me, thrown away for refusing to play their family's games." I leaned forward. "What if we could help them?" "How?" "I don't know yet, but these women need resources, legal help, someone to believe them." That's how Project Artemis started. Not with grand plans or funding strategies, but with a borrowed laptop and free Wi-Fi. I interviewed every woman who'd reach out, documented their stories, created a basic website. Piper, who actually had a job in marketing, helped make it look professional. Then Summer found us. She stumbled into the diner at 3 a.m., barely 20, wearing clothes too thin for winter. Rita called me over. "You help girls, right?" Summer's voice was barely a whisper. "I saw your website. I need to disappear." Her story came out in pieces. Trafficked, escaped, running from people who'd paid good money to own her. I looked at my pathetic bank balance, at this broken girl, at Rita, who was already making a plate of eggs. "Let me make some calls," I said. We cobbled together help. Rita knew a shelter. Piper's church had a legal aid program. I wrote Summer's story, with her permission, and set up a GoFundMe. It went viral. Suddenly, we had attention, resources, women's organizations reaching out to partner. Piper quit her job to help full-time. "We need an office," she announced 6 months later. "A real one, not a diner booth." We found a tiny space above a laundromat. The elevator never worked, and summers were brutal without AC. But it was ours. I was sorting through donation receipts when Piper burst in. "Allie, you need to see this." She turned her phone toward me. On the screen was a society page photo. My mother, elegant as ever, at some charity luncheon. But what caught my eye was the banner behind her, supporting women in crisis. "She's speaking at their fundraiser next week," Piper said. "Want to crash it?" I did. God, I did. But no, I said slowly. "Let's do one better. Get me on that speaker list." Piper's eyes widened. "Can you handle that?" Watch me. It took every contact we'd made, every favor we could call in. But a week later, I stood at that podium. My mother sat in the third row, face frozen in shock. "My name is Allison," I began, "and I was one of the lucky ones. I chose homelessness over abuse. I chose freedom over family fortune. Not everyone gets that choice." I laid out Project Artemis's mission, our success stories, our plans. I never looked directly at her, but I felt her eyes on me. When the applause came, I finally met her gaze. She was already walking out, shoulders stiff. Piper found me afterward. "You okay?" "Better than okay?" I smiled, watching the donors line up to talk. "I think we just went big league." The rats behind the diner had taught me something else. Sometimes you have to bare your teeth to survive, and I was just getting started. 5 years can change everything. The Artemis Foundation now occupied 3 floors of a downtown office building. Our waiting room had real furniture, not salvaged chairs from yard sales, and I wore designer suits, though I still kept that old diner uniform in my closet as a reminder. "Ms. Allison?" My assistant's voice crackled through the intercom. "Your 2 o'clock is here." "Send them in." The door opened, and my heart stopped. Miles Newton stood there, looking exactly as he had the night my parents tried to force our engagement. Same perfect smile, same predator's eyes. "Allison," he purred, "you look successful." "What do you want, Miles?" My voice was ice, my hand already on my phone's record button under the desk. "To invest in your foundation." He sat uninvited, spreading papers across my desk. $10 million. Unrestricted funds. I raised an eyebrow. And nothing. Call it making amends. Like the amends you made to Jessica, or Rachel, or Karen? His smile tightened. Ancient history. I've changed. People like you don't change, Miles. You just get better at hiding. He leaned forward. Maybe. But people like you, the angry little girls who think they can change the world, you either learn to play the game or you disappear. Is that a threat? A reality check. Take the money, Allison. Consider it a second chance for us both. I stood up slowly. Security will escort you out. Your parents miss you, he said suddenly. Eliza cries about you at charity events. Uriel's health isn't great. Take the money. Come home. Get out. After he left, Piper rushed in. Was that? Yes. I handed her my phone. Get this recording to legal and pull everything we have on Miles's current business dealings. Already on it. She paused. What he said about your dad being sick. Probably manipulation. But something nagged at me. Have Summer look into it. Quietly. That night I couldn't sleep. I pulled up old files, the ones that had started everything. Something about Miles's offer felt wrong. Too convenient. My phone buzzed. Summer. Boss, you need to see this. She'd sent a photo. Old, maybe 7 years. My father, Miles, and several men I recognized as pharmaceutical executives, all shaking hands in some wood-paneled room. Where did you find this? Deleted social media post. But look at the banner behind them. I zoomed in. Global Health Initiative, ARV Trials Review Board. Those trials were shut down, Summer said. Hundreds of women died because they couldn't access treatment. Your father's law firm handled the paperwork. My hands shook. And now Miles wants to invest in women's health programs through Artemis. Money laundering, Summer suggested. No, reputation laundering. I stood up, pacing. They're trying to bury their past before someone connects the dots. What do we do? I thought about my mother's tears at charity events, my father's mysterious illness, Miles's threats disguised as offers. We bury them first. I took a deep breath. Get me everything on those trials, every document, every victim, every signature. And Summer? Be careful. These men kill careers for fun. They've never met me, she said grimly. I'll have it by morning. I hung up and stared at the city lights below my office. Somewhere out there, my parents were probably at another gala, another fundraiser, pretending to care about women's lives while profiting from their deaths. My phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number. Take the deal, Allison. Some doors only open once. I typed back. Some doors should stay closed. Then I called Piper. Remember when you said I needed better security? I said when she answered. Do it, whatever it costs. That bad? Worse. I looked at the photo again. We're not just fighting my family anymore. We're fighting an entire system. Good, Piper said fiercely. It's about time someone did. I smiled, despite everything. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we go to war. But first, I had one more call to make. To a reporter I trusted, who'd been begging for an exclusive on my story. Ready to know why I really started Artemis? I asked when she answered. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. It's served to a hungry press, with receipts. The story broke on a Tuesday. Pharmaceutical giants hid deadly trial results. Prominent attorney implicated. My father's face stared from every news site, alongside damning documents and devastating testimonials. They're calling for a congressional inquiry, Piper said, dropping the morning papers on my desk. Your father's firm is in chaos. I sipped my coffee, watching the chaos unfold on multiple screens. Any word from the family? Your mother's been spotted at the airport. Private jet. Your father's spokesman released a statement denying everything. My phone rang. Summer. Boss, you need to turn on Channel 7 right now. I grabbed the remote. There, standing at a podium, was Miles. These allegations are baseless, he was saying. This is clearly a vindictive attack by my former fiancé, who... Mute it, I snapped. Summer, please tell me we have... Already uploading the recordings from your office meeting with him, and the threatening texts. Twitter's going to explode in about... Now. I watched the view counts climb, watched my father's carefully built reputation crumble in real time. Piper perched on my desk. Allie, are you sure about this? Once we go nuclear... They killed women, Piper. Actual women, because clinical trials were too expensive. I pulled up one of the victims' photos. Maria, 26, 2 kids, died because they buried the research that could have saved her. I know, but... No buts. I stood up. Get me Dr. Fisher on the line. We're doing this. Cyrus Fisher, our lead researcher, answered on the first ring. I assume you've seen the news? All of it. How fast can you publish our findings? The peer review is done. We can go live today. He paused. But, Allison, there's something else. Your father's medical records were in that data dump. My heart stopped. What about them? He's got Barrow syndrome, terminal without treatment. And guess what the only experimental treatment program is? Ours, I whispered. Yours, he confirmed. The one you funded with all that dirty pharmaceutical money you've been taking down. Ironic, isn't it? I sat heavily. How long does he have without it? 6 months, maybe less. After I hung up, Piper touched my shoulder. What are you thinking? I'm thinking Karma's got a sick sense of humor. I pulled up our clinic's admission protocols. Call the board. Emergency meeting? The boardroom filled quickly. Summer took her usual seat, tablet ready. Dr. Fisher joined via video. I stood at the head of the table, my hands steady despite everything. By now, you've all seen the news, I began. What you don't know is that my father will likely seek treatment at our clinic. We need to decide our response. It's simple, Summer said. We deny him, like they denied those women. We can't, Dr. Fisher interrupted. The optics would destroy us, denying treatment based on personal vendettas. It's not personal, I said quietly. It's justice. Piper stood up. No, Allie. This is exactly what they would do. We're supposed to be better, are we? I pulled up Maria's photo again. Tell that to her children. The debate raged for hours. In the end, it came down to me. As always. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. Please, he's your father. I thought about that night, 10 years ago. How easily they'd thrown me away. How cold their eyes had been. Here's what we're going to do, I announced. We'll accept his application, but there will be no privacy, no special treatment. His case becomes public record. Every detail, every setback, every improvement, documented for research. Let him experience what it's like to be a trial subject. Summer smiled slowly. Make him live what he put others through. Exactly. I looked around the room. Any objections? Silence. Good, because tomorrow my parents are going to walk through those clinic doors, and I want everything ready. Piper caught me as everyone filed out. You okay? I looked at my reflection in the window, remembered that scared girl in the diner. I'm not sure I'll ever be okay, but I'm going to be right. Sometimes justice wears a white coat instead of a black robe, and sometimes karma needs a little help finding its target. The Swiss clinic gleamed like a crystal palace in the morning sun. I watched through security feeds as my parents' car wound up the private drive. Mother's pearls caught the light. Different strand, same old armor. They're here, Summer announced through my earpiece. Your father's walking on his own, but he's unsteady. Vital signs? I asked Dr. Fisher, who monitored from the adjacent room. Blood pressure elevated, tremors visible in his right hand. Classic Barrow's progression. I straightened my lab coat, touching the director's badge that read simply Dr. A. 10 years of work had led to this moment. Places, everyone, I murmured. Let's give them the full Artemis experience. Through the cameras, I watched them enter. Mother's face was drawn, missing its usual perfect makeup. Father leaned slightly on her arm, his proud posture diminished. They approached the reception desk where Summer sat, unrecognizable in her professional attire. Welcome to Artemis Clinical Research, she said smoothly. Name? Uriel and Eliza, Mother said. We have an appointment with the director. Of course. Please complete these forms while you wait. I watched Father's hand shake as he tried to write. Mother took the pen from him, her own hands trembling slightly. The liability waiver is quite extensive, she commented, scanning the documents. We believe in full transparency, Summer replied. Every detail of treatment becomes part of our research database. Public record. Father's head snapped up. Public? That's not acceptable. We were promised discretion. Sir, this is a research facility, not a private hospital. All patients contribute to the greater good. Summer's smile was perfect. Would you like to withdraw your application? They exchanged looks. Mother squeezed Father's hand. No, he said finally. Continue. 20 minutes later, Summer led them to my office. I stood with my back to the door, staring out the window. Doctor will see you now, Summer announced, then closed the door. I turned slowly, savoring the moment their expressions changed from hope to shock to fear. Hello, Mother. Father. My voice was steady, professional. Please sit down. Allison. Mother's hand flew to her throat. You're the director of experimental research? Yes. I sat behind my desk. Quite a long way from dying poor and alone, wouldn't you say? Father's face darkened. This is impossible. You can't be in charge of the only treatment that might save your life? I smiled. Karma's fascinating, isn't it? We'll go somewhere else. He started to stand. There is nowhere else, I said quietly. You know that, or you wouldn't be here. Barrow's syndrome has exactly one experimental treatment protocol. Mine. Mother stepped forward. Allison, please, whatever you think we did. Think. I pulled out a file. I know exactly what you did. To me, to those women in the trials. It's all here. Every signature, every death, every cover-up. That was business. Father snapped. You couldn't understand. Actually, I understand perfectly. Business decisions require clinical responses. I opened the file. Shall we begin your intake interview? Mother sank into a chair. You're enjoying this? No. I met her eyes. I'm doing my job, treating the sick, documenting results, making sure no one can bury the truth again. Father's hands shook harder. What do you want? Want? I'm offering you treatment, but on my terms, complete transparency, no special privileges. You'll be research subject number 274. Nothing more. And if we refuse? I shrugged. Then you leave. Die within 6 months. Your choice. I smiled. Isn't choice wonderful? When you actually have one? Mother started crying silently. Father stared at the floor. The forms are here, I said, sliding them across the desk. Summer will witness your signatures. They signed. What else could they do? Treatment begins tomorrow, I told them. 8 a.m. sharp. Don't be late. We document everything, including punctuality. At the door, Mother turned back. Allison, are you really going to help him? Of course. I met her gaze. I'm not you. After they left, Piper found me staring out the window again. That was intense, she said softly. It's only beginning. I watched their car disappear down the drive. Call Dr. Fisher. Tell him to prep the first round of trials. Sometimes revenge doesn't need violence. Sometimes it just needs patience, power, and perfect timing. Subject 274 shows increased tremors after first treatment round, I dictated into the recorder. Cognitive function remains stable. Patient exhibits signs of emotional distress during mandatory counseling sessions. Father sat in the treatment chair, needles in his arms, watching me with a mixture of hatred and desperation. Mother perched nearby, her designer clothes increasingly wrinkled from long hospital hours. How much longer? She asked. The protocol takes 6 weeks. I checked his vitals. Assuming he qualifies for continued treatment. Qualifies? Father's voice shook. What does that mean? All patients must pass weekly ethics evaluations to continue treatment. I smiled professionally. Surely you read the forms you signed. A knock at the door. Summer entered with a tablet. Dr. A, it's time for subject 274's interview. No. Father tried to stand, tangling in the IV lines. No more interviews. Then, no more treatment. I moved toward the door. Your choice. Mother grabbed my arm. Allison, please. He's suffering. I looked pointedly at her hand until she released me. Like Maria suffered. Remember her, Mother, the woman whose death certificate you helped bury? That was different. You're right. She didn't have a choice. I turned to Summer. Begin recording. Summer positioned the tablet. Subject 274, Ethics Interview 3. Please state your name for the record. Father remained silent. Non-compliance will be noted, I said softly, along with treatment termination. Uriel, he spat finally. Describe your role in the 2015 ARV trials shutdown. I was merely legal counsel. The truth, please. We have the documents. He slumped in the chair. I coordinated the evidence suppression, arranged the settlements. How many women died as a result? I don't know. 217, Summer supplied. Would you like to see their photos? Mother started crying again. Father closed his eyes. Why did you do it? I asked quietly. Money, he whispered. Status, power, the same reasons we wanted you to marry Miles. And how do you feel about those decisions now? He looked at me finally, really looked at me. I feel shame. I checked his vitals again. Noted. Summer, send the interview to the ethics board. We'll have their decision by morning. You can't do this, Mother burst out. We're your parents. No. I turned to her. You lost that right when you chose money over my safety, when you helped hide the deaths of other people's daughters. We were wrong, she whispered. Is that what you want to hear? We were wrong about everything. I don't want to hear anything. I want you to feel it. Every needle, every interview, every moment of powerlessness. I checked my watch. Treatment's done for today. A nurse will be in to disconnect you. At the door, Father called out. What would you have done, in my position? I paused. I would have chosen justice over profit, like I'm doing now. Later, in my office, Piper brought coffee and concern. The ethics board is worried. They think you're too close to this case. I'm exactly close enough. I showed her Father's latest scans. The treatment's working, Piper. He's getting better. That's not what I mean. She sat down. You're healing his body while destroying his spirit. Is that really justice? Ask Maria's children what justice looks like. But my hands shook slightly. Besides, he's learning. They both are. And what are you learning? Before I could answer, Summer burst in. We have a problem. Miles is giving a press conference. He's claiming we're experimenting on unwilling patients. What? She turned up the TV. There he was, playing concerned citizen. Sources say Artemis Clinic is using patients for unauthorized trials, specifically targeting vulnerable individuals. That snake, Piper hissed. He's trying to shut us down before your father can testify about the ARV trials. I watched Miles spin his lies, remembered his threats in my office. No, he's trying to make me choose, the clinic or my revenge. What are you going to do? I picked up my phone. Call Dr. Fisher. Tell him to release all of Father's treatment data. Every scan, every improvement, every confession. That'll expose him completely, Summer warned. Yes. I smiled grimly. And it'll prove our treatment works. Let's see Miles explain that to his pharmaceutical friends. Sometimes the best defense is a truth so complete It burns everything in its path. The ethics board convened in our main conference room, 12 stern faces staring down at my father. Mother sat in the gallery, clutching her handkerchief. I stood at the podium, every inch the clinical director. Subject 224's case review, I announced. The board will hear testimony regarding treatment continuation. Summer stepped forward first. Data shows 60% improvement in motor function. Cognitive scores stable. However, she pulled up the interview recordings. Emotional compliance remains problematic. He refuses to fully acknowledge his role in patient deaths, Dr. Fisher added via video link. Classic resistance to accountability. Father stood shakily. I've admitted everything. What more do you want? Want? I turned to him. Tell us about Lisa. Who? Lisa, age 19, died waiting for treatment you buried. I projected her photo. She loved dance, had a scholarship to Juilliard. Tell us about her. I don't... Or Angela, single mother, 3 kids. Remember her? Stop, Mother cried out. Haven't we suffered enough? Suffered? Summer's voice cut through the room. Let me tell you about suffering. She walked to the front, tablet forgotten. I was trafficked at 16, sold by people like you who thought their money made them gods. The Artemis Foundation saved me. And now you want mercy? Father sank back into his chair. I didn't know about any of them. You chose not to know, I corrected. The board will now vote on whether to continue treatment. The tension stretched as hands raised. 7, yes. 5, no. Treatment continues, I declared, with additional conditions. What conditions? Mother asked. Full public testimony about the ARV trials. Every name, every cover-up, every bribe. That would destroy him, she protested. No, Mother, it would redeem him. Father stood again, steadier this time. I'll do it. Uriel, no. Yes. He faced me. You want truth? Here's truth. I was a monster. I valued money over lives, power over justice. He turned to the board. I helped kill those women as surely as if I'd held the gun myself. The room fell silent. And your daughter? Summer pressed. What about her? I threw away the best part of myself. His voice broke. Because she was braver than I ever was. I gripped the podium hard. Treatment resumes tomorrow, 8 a.m. As people filed out, Mother approached me. You'll always be our daughter, she whispered. But you're not the girl we threw away. No, I agreed coldly. She died. You killed her. Later, Piper found me in my office, staring at Lisa's photo. Miles is in custody, she reported. FBI found evidence of witness tampering. Your father's confession broke it wide open. Good. The pharmaceutical board is in chaos. Stock prices crashing. Your parents' social circle is disintegrating. Better. She sat down. So, why don't you look happy? I turned from the window. Because revenge feels hollow when your target starts deserving mercy. Is that what this is? Mercy? No. I smiled slightly. It's justice, real justice. Not the kind they buy and sell, but the kind that changes things. My phone buzzed. A message from Summer. Maria's kids want to meet you. Something cracked in my chest. You know what the worst part is? I told Piper. Part of me still loves them, still wants them to be proud of me. They are proud, she said softly. Terrified, but proud? I see how your mother watches you, how your father listens when you speak. Too little, too late, maybe. Or maybe this is how real change happens, not through revenge but through forced enlightenment. I looked at my calendar. Tomorrow's treatment would be Father's last. The tremors were almost gone. The disease was retreating. "What now?" Piper asked. "Now?" I picked up Lisa's photo. "We keep going, keep helping, keep exposing truth until there are no more Lisas, no more Mariahs." "And your parents?" I thought about Father's confession, Mother's tears, the way they'd learned to see people as people, not pawns. "They'll live with what they've done," I said finally, "just like I live with what I've become." Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies, it's forcing them to become better people. The real estate agent looked uncomfortable as she showed my parents' belongings being cleared from their mansion. "The new owners take possession next week," she explained. I watched movers box up crystal glasses, pearl necklaces, all the trappings of their former life. Mother supervised from a folding chair, her designer clothes replaced by simple slacks and a sweater. "The apartment's furnished," I told her. "You don't need all this." "I know." She touched a crystal vase. "It seems silly now, doesn't it? All these things we thought were important." Father emerged from his study, leaning on a cane. The treatment had worked, but some weakness remained. A reminder, perhaps. "The foundation paperwork is complete," he said. "Everything we have left goes to Artemis for a new research wing." "You don't have to." "Yes," he interrupted. "We do." My phone buzzed. Summer. "Maria's daughters are here." "Come with me," I said to my parents. "There's something you need to see." At the clinic, 2 teenage girls waited in the conference room. They had their mother's eyes. "This is Sophia and Luna," Summer introduced. "Maria's daughters." Mother's hand flew to her mouth. Father gripped his cane tighter. "We wanted to thank you," Sophia said, looking at me, "for exposing the truth, for giving our mom's death meaning." "And we wanted to tell you," Luna added, turning to my parents, "that we forgive you." Father started to speak, but Luna held up her hand. "Not because you deserve it, but because hate was killing us, like it was killing you." She smiled sadly. "Mom would have wanted us to be better than that." Mother was crying openly now. Father bowed his head. "The new research wing," I said quietly. "It'll be named after Maria. Every patient will know her story." "Good," Sophia nodded. "That's good." After they left, Piper brought coffee to my office. "That was intense. Everything about this has been intense." I watched the movers finishing at the mansion through my window. "Did you know they're moving into an apartment near the clinic? Father says he wants to volunteer. Mother's talking about counseling families of patients." "People can change," Piper said, "when they're forced to see the truth, or when they're given a chance to choose differently." I turned from the window. The ethics board approved our global expansion. 10 new clinics, real research, real treatment, real change. And Miles, singing like a bird to federal prosecutors. I smiled. Amazing what people reveal when their empires crumble. My phone buzzed again, a text from Mother. "Dinner tonight, just to talk?" I showed Piper the message. "Are you going?" she asked. "I don't know." I touched the old diner uniform I kept framed on my wall. The girl they threw away wouldn't. "But you're not her anymore." "No." I looked at my reflection in the window. "I'm someone stronger, someone who can choose mercy without forgetting justice." I typed back, "Yes, But I choose the place. Later that evening, I took them to Rita's diner. She still worked there, still made the best pancakes in town. This is where you lived? Mother asked, looking around. This is where I survived, I corrected, where I learned what really matters. Rita brought coffee without being asked. On the house, honey. Always. Father touched my hand tentatively. We can never undo what we did. To you, to those women, their families. No, I agreed. But you can spend the rest of your lives trying to balance the scales. That's your treatment now, your ongoing protocol. Will you? Mother hesitated. Will you help us? Show us how. I thought about Sophia and Luna, about mercy and justice, about the girl I was and the woman I'd become. Yes, I said finally, but not as your daughter, as your teacher. They nodded, understanding the distinction, the boundary, the new reality we'd all have to live with. Outside, the city lights flickered on. Through the diner window, I could see the Artemis building rising against the sky. A beacon. A promise. A reminder that sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying what hurt you. It's building something better from the ashes. Rita brought pancakes. We ate in silence, watching the night unfold, beginning again.